Welcome to the Scoop with Dukes. I'm your host, Philip Dukes, aka Dukes the Scoop. Check me out on Twitter and Instagram at Dukes the Scoop. And please be sure to hit the like and subscribe button. If you have not already become a member of the channel, you can go to the description and show your support for the channel by becoming a subscriber. It's a monthly fee. I think it's like $4.99 or something like that, where it just keeps the lights paid. And we appreciate all the subscribers and the members that we do have for the channel. It's been a really fun ride. And we built what 14 where we had 14,200 subscribers in a little over 10 months. Amazing. And man, I just want to thank everybody for helping us to get to where we are as we push towards 15,000. All right, guys, this is an AU scoop. Um, yeah, so you guys know that I've been doing deep dives into DJ Durkin. Reason being, excuse me, reason being is that I continue to hear that he's a very serious and viable candidate to be the next Auburn head coach. And to be honest, I would say DJ Durkin controls his own destiny because he has an opportunity. If he runs his table and he goes 3-0, I don't think there's any way Auburn hires anyone else. I think you get an offensive coordinator, and if the offense opens up, maybe you try out with Knicks. Who knows? But I do think that DJ Durkin is in the driver's seat for this position based on the performance of what he does over these next three games. I think if you beat Vandy, right, a ranked team on the road, you beat that would be your biggest win in a long time. Your first game as an interim head coach, you beat a ranked opponent on the road and a quarterback who's basically been terrorizing you for the past few years. That would be huge. You go back, you beat Mercer, defense throttles Mercer. I'm pretty sure he's gonna be dialing it up. And then you play Bama at least tough. You beat Bama. You go. I think there's no way he doesn't get the job if you go 3-0. Right. You play Bama tough after two really good showings. I think still has a pretty good chance of getting the job. For those who still wonder about the tragedy that happened involving Jordan McNair passing away at the University of Maryland, I dropped a super fact-filled video on that. You can look on my channel. The thumbnail says "What happened at Maryland." Uh, Prayers and blessings to the McNair family as they continue to recover from the loss of their loved one. But I really wanted people to be able to make their own not assumptions, to form their own opinion and not just look at people on Twitter in a 3-minute rant, right, or a 30-second post. So I think we owe it to everyone involved to educate ourselves about that situation. So I think there's a link. You'll see a link to that video in here somewhere if you haven't already. All right, but what I wanted to do today was to really dive in. So we talked about the past at Maryland, but let's talk about DJ Durkin in the football sense. We talked about DJ Durkin and how the team is going crazy about him. Very energized practices right after your second practice. I think also we let's find out let's check into his resume, see who he is and what he's done. So we all hear about him being a defensive dynamo and wonderkin and being the guy when it comes to defense. He's done it a multiple times. So DJ Durkin attended Bowling Green, where he was a wide receiver and a linebacker. Joined Bowling Green staff in 01-02 as a GA under head coach Urban Meyer. 03-04, he goes to Notre Dame as a GA. In 2005, he gets his first position coach job as the defensive ends coach at Bowling Green. 2006 at Bowling Green, he becomes the linebackers and the special teams coach. Then he gets the defensive ends and special team coach under Jim Harbaugh under his first staff at Stanford. So you're starting to see he's done it with when you check references. He's got two really big names under him already who won a ton: Jim Harbaugh and Urban Meyer. So Urban Meyer at Florida brought Durkin with him from 2010 to 2012. He was the linebackers and the special teams coach. In 2012, Durkin was the Rivals Recruiter of the Year. 2013, 2014, defensive coordinator and linebackers coach. He gets a promotion under the new head coach, Will Muschamp. So Muschamp promotes Durkin. 2014, he becomes the interim head coach after Will Muschamp resigned. 2015, he gets the Michigan defensive coordinator and linebackers coach job under Harbaugh, under Harbaugh again. Florida hired Jim McElwain was hired at Florida, so Harbaugh brought Durkin to Michigan with him. Then he gets his stint as head coach from 2016 to 2018 at the University of Maryland. After the tragedy, 2019, he goes to the Atlanta Falcons as a guest coach consultant under Dan Quinn. I think he wasn't there long at all, maybe like 10 days or whatever. But during training camp, he was a consultant. 2020, 2021, Lane Kiffin gave Durkin his first full-time coaching opportunity after the tragedy. In 2020, the defense was ranked 118, but they made a big jump in 2021. We'll get back to that. We got better numbers. The Ole Miss years were, as a defensive coordinator, were his worst years. So 118 in 2020 and 51 in 2021, a huge jump. 22-23, Texas A&M defensive coordinator and linebackers coach with Jimbo Fisher. So the defense regressed a little bit to 36 in 2023, but it's also thinking about, are you talking about scoring or are you talking about total defense? We'll get into those numbers. Right now, he's the Auburn he's a co-defensive coordinator last year with Kelly, and this year he's running it. All right, so let's look at what he's done at Auburn. Let's start there. At Auburn, he's done it. Best rushing defense since 2010, 117 yards per game. Best total defense since 2017, 330 yards per game. And 19 point, and the best scoring defense since 2019 and 19.5 points per game. That was his first year at Auburn. That was last year. In year 2, those numbers have gotten even better. 83.56 yards per game. Rushing defense. Total defense at 309 yards per game. Scoring defense at 17.7 points per game. All right. So he's been killing it at Auburn. Let's dive into the numbers of where he's been previously. And this is great for the water cooler. So I like to take some of these numbers when I hear about John Summerall, when I hear about other candidates, defensive candidates especially. I can take these numbers and I can compare them, and I can also look at the groceries he had to cook with. At the University of Florida, he has some great numbers, but he also has some great talent. At Michigan, definitely has some great talent, but he also had great numbers. So when you look at guys, it's almost like race car drivers, right? Anybody, all of us can drive fast in a race car, but I'm not sure all of us are ready to be Indy 500 or F1 drivers. We're going to go fast, but do you know how to drive it and to be most efficient? Currently, you see he basically has a pretty souped up car when you look at all the talent on that Auburn defense, and he's driving it very efficiently. So as long as you recruit it, he knows what to do with it defensively. All right, let's go and look at DJ and some specific numbers. I'll start here. So we'll start with his time at Stanford with the defensive ends. His group at Stanford at defensive ends, they ranked 11th nationally in sacks in 2007 and 2009, and he helped them bring in one of their highest rated recruiting classes. Uh, let's go 2010 to 2012 at Florida, special teams coordinator and linebackers coach. He helped produce Chaz Henry, who won the Ray Guy Award as the nation's top punter, and a two-time finalist in Caleb Sturgis as for the Lou Groza Award. So did a pretty good job understanding special teams. That's always a plus for a head coach candidate. In his first season as defensive coordinator at Florida, Florida finished first in the SEC and seventh in pass defense in the pass happy league. That's important. Sixth nationally in first downs allowed, and 15th in scoring defense, while allowing only 27 touchdowns, the sixth fewest in the nation. And he had a first round pick in Dominique Easley. The 2014 team finished ranked in the top 10 in the nation in yards allowed per play, yards allowed per rush attempt, and yards allowed per pass attempt. That team, he had Dante Fowler and Vernon Hargraves along with Antonio Morrison. In those 2 years at Florida, back-to-back top 15 rankings in total defense. 15th in 2014 at 329 yards, and in 2013 he was way better. Even 15th is good, but he was 8th overall in 2013. So you're starting to see a trend here that when he has the tools, he delivers. When he was at the University of Michigan, 17.2 points a game, shutting out 3 consecutive opponents, 3 donuts. Man, you know what? If he stays the coordinator and he pitches a shutout, you got to call it Durkin. Not you got to call it Durkin's Donuts. Trademark me. We got to do that. But yeah, man, super highly ranked defenses wherever he's been. I told you about the numbers in Ole Miss wasn't the greatest. Texas A&M, he gets back to business. Number 17 in the nation, in the and number 4 in passing defense efficiency. Not blowing doors off, but 22 in the country at 20.7 points per game. And in 2023, number 3 in the SEC and number 19 nationally in total defense at 316 yards a game. And leading the conference in rushing defense, sacks, and first down defense. Listen, he's at 11 top 25 classes that he's been a part of. The guy ain't that much older than me. I'm 40. I just turned 43, so Dirk got to be 46, 47. So listen, when you look at it by the numbers, DJ Durkin really is that when it comes to the numbers. I think now it's about how he puts together a staff, institutional control, especially like and this is what I will say. We've seen people who recovered from tragedies, families that have to be cared for, uh, people that have to learn, right? So I saw someone in the comments make a point that said something like in manufacturing, I've been a part of warehouses where people have had gruesome lost limbs, gruesome injuries, and I've heard stories about people. Actually, I worked somewhere where someone lost their life in 2017, and what I have learned is it raises the level of accountability and awareness. And you hate for things like that to happen, to do that, but that is something that usually happens for smart people and people who are genuinely remorseful. They figure out a way to change. That doesn't have to happen. It has to be somebody who wants it to happen and somebody who cares enough. I think that you will. DJ Durkin has been proven that he's changed. I don't. Let me take that back. I don't want to say changed. I want to say that he's proven that he could be trusted with young adults as he's been a defensive coordinator at Ole Miss, Texas A&M, and now Auburn for 5, 6 years, and there hasn't been a peep of anyone saying anything about DJ Durkin. as far as being careless, being reckless. If anything, they're saying he's kind of, everything's been by the book. All right, so where does that leave you? If DJ Durkin is named Auburn University's next head coach, you've got somebody who's going to play hard-nosed defense. You've got somebody who's going to be serious about recruiting. And the type of kids that he's going to recruit are going to be hard-nosed football players. That's what he likes. He's a football guy. I'm not sure he's the biggest in the NIL. He's the biggest in the marketing. I'm not sure he's the biggest into that. But I think you'd be hard-pressed to find a guy who's more into football than DJ Durkin. Does that work in today's era? I don't know. I just know for a fact that right now he has the pulse of Auburn's team. And I think the kids trust him and the kids believe in him. And I think the kids want to play for him. Now, does that mean that Auburn may not go with John Sumrall or Eli Drinkwitz? I'm going to make a video about that because I think these are two, Kenny Dillingham, all viable candidates for sure. So I don't know how this thing is going to shake out. It could be any one of these guys. But as our interim head coach at Auburn right now, I just wanted to make sure people had enough information that if they didn't feel like going to read it or track all the info down themselves, I gave you a place that you can be well versed on who DJ Durkin is without, and every stat I just gave you either came from AlabamaLive.com, Auburn University's website, Texas A&M's website, Michigan's website, Florida's website. It's a lot to it. So I just wanted to make sure that you guys got quality information on your new interim head coach. All right, that's DJ Durkin by the numbers. That's my time for tonight. See you guys soon. I'm out.